Hi guys, so we're talking about multiple events occurring here. So what happens if I, for example, flipped a coin and rolled a dice? How many possible outcomes are there? So, when multiple events occur, the outcomes can be listed using a table. So basically what we do, alright, so we create a table. Now the number of rows and number of columns is dependent on the number of outcomes for each separate event. So what I am looking at here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns, and I'm going to do this as 3 rows. Okay, I'm going to do this as rolling a die and flipping a coin. All right, so the coin, there's 2 possible outcomes: heads and tails. Okay, for the dice, there are 6 possible outcomes: 1, a 2, a 3, a 4, a 5 and a 6. Now I'm going to draw this next part in blue just so that it stands out a bit more. So here I've got a head and the number 1. Here I've got a tail and the number 1, head and number 2, tail number 2, head 3, tail 3, head 4, tail 4, head 5, tail 5, head 6, and tail 6. So I've come up with 12 possible outcomes for this. One thing to note is a little bit of the language that we use when it comes to multiple events, and I'm going to introduce those here. So first one is one that was mentioned in class today: complement. So the complement is essentially the opposite, or the thing not occurring. The next one is the idea of the word and. So if I talk about getting a head and an even number, that would mean that I would have to get heads. I'd have to get heads, and I'd have to get a 2, a 4, or a 6. The idea of and means that both have to occur. Okay, so looking at this situation, the idea of saying heads and an even number means that I could possibly have heads and 2, heads and 4, or heads and 6, because they're the only ones that have both situations. Okay, on the other hand, if I'm looking at the idea of the word or, that means that I could have either situation occurring. So in this case, if I said heads or an even number, all right, I don't necessarily have to have both occurring. I have these ones that are heads, all 6 of these outcomes, plus anything that has an even number. So in this case, there are 9 different outcomes that fulfill this.